There's an old church at the edge of my town that no one talks about. The kind of place you drive by 1,000 times and never really notice. The stained glass is blackened with age, and the stone walls are wrapped in dead vines. Even the sign out front is weathered to the point where the name is unreadable. But everyone knows the rule. Don't go near the church at midnight. I first heard about it when I was 10. The older kids used to dare each other to run up to the iron gate, touch it, and come back. No one ever made it though. Most of them would sprint towards the gate, get about halfway there, and freeze like they hit an invisible wall. Then they'd turn pale and come running back, shaking and swearing that they heard something. A bell. It started getting to me when I was 16. I began hearing the bell at night. At first I thought it was some trick of the wind, or maybe an old clock tower echoing through the town. But then I realized it only rang at 12:07 a.m. And it wasn't a normal bell. It sounded hollow, wrong, like something coming from somewhere far away and getting closer. One night, curiosity got the better of me. I was lying awake, counting down the minutes to midnight, when I heard it. It was louder this time. I sat up, heart pounding. I walked to my window. My house has a clear view of the church at the end of the street. I watched the building, waiting for something, anything, to happen. The church doors opened, and no one was there. A figure stepped into the doorway. It was tall, unnaturally tall and thin, dressed in what looked like to be old ceremonial robes. Its face was hidden beneath a hood, but I could see the bottom of its jaw. Its mouth was smiling. The bell tolled again. It raised a hand and pointed out my window. I stumbled backwards and closed the blinds. The bell rang one more time, and everything was quiet. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I walked to school like nothing had happened, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. Then I heard about Emma. She was in my history class, quiet, always sitting in the back. That morning, her desk was empty. The teacher said her parents had called. She was missing. No one had seen her since the night before. That was the same night I saw the figure. The same night the bell rang 6 times. The following night I stayed awake again. I don't know why. Some part of me knew it wasn't over. At exactly 12:07 a.m., the bell rang. I forced myself to look out the window. The figure was standing at the edge of my driveway. It stepped closer. I couldn't move. My body felt frozen, like I was sinking into the floor. My breath hitched in my throat as the bell tolled again. It was at the foot of my porch steps, and then I saw its face. It wasn't just smiling. The mouth was too wide. The teeth were too thin and long, like needles. Its skin was gray and stretched tight over bone. Its eyes were black, not just dark, empty. The bell tolled again, and its hand reached towards my front door. I ran. I locked myself in the bathroom and sat with my back against the door, trying to breathe. The bell rang one last time, and then it stopped. The next day, Ethan was gone. He lived across the street. His parents said he had gone to bed that night and never woke up. That was the same night the bell rang 5 times. I tried to tell someone, my mom, my friends, anyone, but they just gave me this weird look, like I was talking in another language. Even Emma and Ethan's disappearances weren't enough to shake them. It was like everyone had just accepted it. So I started digging. The church had almost no records, no newspaper clippings, no historical mentions, but I found one thing, a single weathered journal in the local archives. It was from a priest who had lived in the town over a century ago. His final entry read, "When the 7th bell tolls, the church will open, the chosen will be claimed, and the mirror will take its place in the world." That night, I sat by the window, waiting. I don't know why I didn't just leave town. I guess I knew it wouldn't have mattered. At 12:07 a.m., the bell rang. The figure appeared at the end of the street. It walked towards my house. I stood up. My body was shaking. I don't know why, but I stepped towards the door. My hand reached for the knob. Its hand pressed against the glass of my front door. Its face was inches away from mine. Its mouth opened wider. I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, and I saw Emma standing in the hallway. Her mouth was open unnaturally wide. Her eyes were black. Behind her was Ethan. He was smiling too. They spoke at the same time. Join us. The door creaked open. I screamed, and the lights cut out. When I woke up, I was in my bed. My mother said I had a fever, that I had been hallucinating. She said Emma and Ethan had moved away. But I know the truth. I counted the bells. There's one left, and tonight is the 7th night. It's almost midnight now. I start to hear the bell ring. It's louder this time, closer. There's a shadow moving under my door, and I think I can hear someone smiling. If you guys like the story, please tell me your favorite part in the comments. Until next time, I'll see you.